I have a question for you. Is the United States an empire? Is it a world dominating force? Do they control the earth at the present moment, politically, socially, economically, historically? You remember the historical event called Western Expansion, the Louisiana Purchase, where, based on the history books, it was just some empty pieces of land that the United States acquired. But in reality, what it was there were Asiatics, there were Moors, there were indigenous inhabitants, original tribes from this Western Hemisphere that had been here over 50,000 years, whichever tribal names they traveled under and by. In these modern days, like I said, we call them either Moors or Asiatics or Indians or whatever the case may be, Africans. Anyway, they weren't European. And the Europeans just would wipe them out, basically, wipe out tribe after tribe and take over. And they took over all the way from New York to California. But my point is, how do you think they were able to defeat these nations so easily? Which it wasn't as easy as people think, but it was pretty. It wasn't as hard as it could have been or should have been, for one reason. Because, like the conscious community, they were their own individual groups. So when the devil wants to destroy something, he goes at each group and attacks it, and the other groups look and say, well, he's not attacking us, he must be attacking them because of something they did or said, and they allow it to happen till finally there's no more groups left. And so the historical event of the Western Expansion is a lesson for us to learn in these modern days, and that lesson is we are no stronger than our weakest link. And if we do not come together, even though we have different philosophies and different metaphysical theologies and different ideologies and different understandings of what is going on, the devil does not attack you because you're Kemet. The devil does not attack you because you God. The devil does not attack you because you Hebrew. The devil does not attack you because you RBG or any of these other righteous organizations. The devil don't attack you because you a black person in the wilderness North America and you Muslim, or you a black person or an Asiatic or a Moor or a Christian or a Protestant or a Catholic or whatever you are. He attacks you for one simple reason, because he's the devil, and whatever you have he wants, whether it's nothing but the control of you. Even if it's nothing but he wants you to submit to his will. That is why he attacks you. And he cannot defeat you if you come together and refuse to bear witness to his ideology of power. You feel me? Do you remember the war against Mexico? I mean, you're not biologically remembering these things, but these are the wars that the European used to attack us. Now, one day I was online and I saw a news event, and it was talking about how South American Latinos like Mexico and Nicaragua and places like that were like acting like they were at war with African Americans, for lack of a better word, so that you know who I'm talking about. We're at war with them, and they were like straight up attacking them, shooting them, killing them. And it wasn't a gang war. It was like the Mexican had a gang, and their gang was attacking regular civilian black people who weren't in other gangs. It wasn't no Bloods and Crips who can defend themselves. These were civilians they were attacking. Now, the point I'm making is not so much to make us mad at the Mexican, because they're unconscious Also, they don't know that the devil is manipulating them into this thing called, where they have this thing where they have hatred towards the so-called black man in the wilderness of North America, not knowing that they've been manipulated into this, because if they study their history, it was not the black man in the wilderness of North America who disenfranchised them, but it is the European who has disenfranchised them. And I emphasize it is the Europeans in power who manipulate the Europeans who are not in power into doing what they desire to be done, and then they in turn trick them also. To look up a word called manifest destiny, and you tell me, did the so-called black man in the wilderness of North America make up that term, or was it the European who made up that term, manifest destiny? And then you tell me whose empire is whose empire, and which person was the destruction of people. When the Moors, I hear the Moors speak on the Moorish Empire. Are you telling me that the Moorish Empire enslaved Asiatics who were of other tribes and families and took away their culture, creed, nationality, way of life, separated them from their families? I don't think so. So we're directing our energy toward the wrong enemy. When you say, I'm enlightening the people, and you're not enlightening them to such a degree where they don't understand who the enemy really is, then you're doing them a disservice. Remember the Spanish-American War, where the European Americans attacked Cuba. And then they turned back around, because what they were doing was, all they were doing was fighting the other Europeans, the Spaniards that were in Europe that had colonized certain countries. The English in England were now attacking them, and so the indigenous inhabitants always suffer from European aggression. So when the American Europeans attacked Spain in the Spanish-American War, you see what is called Dominican Republic and Haiti produced. You see Cuba produced. You see Colombia produced. And then they went halfway around the world and went to the Philippines and did the same thing. Because if you remember, when the Spaniards attacked the Philippines and the Philippine Islands, they're one of the only, for lack of a better word, Asian people that do not speak their natural tongue. If you go to Philippines now, they mostly speak Spanish. So that shows you the type of aggression that the European has when he attacks. Whenever he usually attacks an area, and you can look and you can see it, because if you go to North America above the Great Lakes, that's Canada. That's mostly French that did that. So that's why the prominent languages up there is either French or English. You remember, France ruled England for a little while. Then when you go to 50 states, you most see the prominent language there is English, because that's the Britain, the English people who controlled or wiped those indigenous inhabitants out. And when you go below Texas, all the way down to Patagonia, you hear the Spanish language, because that was Spain who attacked them. And those Spanish Europeans made the indigenous inhabitants speak Spanish. You feel me? So these are the different ways that the colonizers use to control the people. They make them take on their language, and by taking on their language, you destroy the culture and the creed of the people who you are attacking or you are trying to control. Manifest into the printers. I'm gonna manifest it right there. So you come from here, and I'm gonna manifest it here. Now, if I'm gonna manifest, I'm gonna go from into the printers, and I'm going into Fellowcraft, and I'm going here like that. Okay. Like I was saying, when I go into the 16th degree and the 1 to 40, it says, who is the 5% of this poor part of planet Earth? They are the poor righteous teachers who do not believe in the teachings of the 10%, who is all wise and know who the true and living God is, who teaches the true and living God is the Son of Man, supreme being, black man from Asia, who teaches freedom, justice, and equality to all human families of the planet Earth, otherwise known as civilized people, also Muslim and Muslim son. But even the devil himself has to take the teachings of the right and exact people and flip them over to make them not right and exact on that level. But then on another level, who is that mystery God? If there's no mystery God, there is no mystery devil. So all that spooky, ooh, the devil's coming out of hell with pitchfork and a fork and feet like a goat, and he got a tail with an arrow on the end of it, and he got horns and he's red. That's a bunch of bullshit, man. All of that comes from Catholicism also, just like vampires, Gothic. All of that is the flip side of Catholicism. All right, so who is that mystery God is the same applies for who is that mystery devil. So I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say peace. My name Divine Understanding, born of love.